Store-bought seeds often disappoint gardeners year after year, yet the solution sits right in the garden itself. Many spend hundreds of dollars annually on seed packets, only to watch germination rates drop and plants struggle with local conditions. The seed industry quietly designs this cycle, selling F1 hybrids that cannot reproduce true to type and storing seeds in warehouses, where viability degrades over time. Meanwhile, experienced growers have discovered that saving seeds from their own plants not only eliminates costs, but produces vegetables that grow stronger, yield more, and adapt perfectly to local soil and climate. Understanding why this works requires looking at what commercial seeds actually are, what happens during the seed-saving process, and how plants naturally improve themselves when given the chance. Commercial seed packets present several hidden problems that most gardeners never consider until yields start declining. F1 hybrid seeds dominate garden centers because they produce uniform crops in the first generation, but they're genetically unstable. Saving seeds from F1 plants results in wildly inconsistent offspring that revert to parent characteristics, often producing inferior vegetables. Seed companies engineer this instability deliberately, ensuring gardeners must purchase new packets each season rather than becoming self-sufficient. Storage conditions further compromise viability, as seeds may sit in warehouses for months or years at fluctuating temperatures and humidity levels before reaching store shelves. Even seeds within their labeled expiration dates frequently show poor germination because printed dates assume ideal storage that rarely occurs in reality. Additionally, commercial seeds come from plants grown in specific regions under controlled conditions, meaning they lack genetic adaptation to local microclimates, soil types, and pest pressures. A tomato variety bred in California's mild climate struggles when transplanted to humid southern gardens or short-season northern zones, no matter how carefully it's grown. Chemical seed treatments add another concern, as fungicides and coatings may affect beneficial soil microorganisms that help seedlings establish strong root systems. Open-pollinated varieties represent the alternative that makes seed saving viable, producing offspring identical to parent plants generation after generation. These traditional varieties, also called heirloom or heritage seeds when passed down through families, pollinate naturally through wind, insects, or self-pollination, maintaining genetic stability. When saving seeds from open-pollinated tomatoes, the next generation produces fruits with the same size, color, flavor, and growth characteristics as the parent plant. This genetic consistency allows continuous improvement through selection, as gardeners can choose seeds from the best-performing plants year after year. Open-pollinated varieties also carry diverse genetics within their stable framework, enabling them to adapt to changing conditions while maintaining core characteristics. A packet of Cherokee purple tomatoes from a seed company produces good plants, but saving seeds from those plants and repeating the process for 3 to 4 seasons creates a Cherokee purple line specifically adapted to that garden's exact conditions. The plants become increasingly vigorous because natural selection favors individuals best suited to local rainfall patterns, temperature extremes, soil pH, and even specific pest species. Many open-pollinated varieties have survived for decades or centuries precisely because this adaptation process works, with gardeners unconsciously breeding plants perfectly matched to their growing conditions simply by saving seeds from successful crops. Saved seeds develop remarkable local adaptation that commercial seeds simply cannot match, creating plants that thrive in specific garden conditions. During the first year of saving seeds, selecting from the healthiest, most productive plants begins a selection process that intensifies with each generation. Plants that naturally resist local fungal diseases pass those resistance genes to their offspring, while susceptible individuals get eliminated from the gene pool when gardeners avoid saving their seeds. A garden in a humid climate gradually develops tomato lines resistant to early blight and septoria leaf spot, while the same variety grown in an arid region might develop drought tolerance and heat resistance instead. This adaptation happens surprisingly quickly. Research shows that even 3 generations of selection in a consistent environment produces measurable improvements in plant performance. Temperature tolerance adapts particularly well, as plants that successfully set fruit during heat waves or cold snaps contribute disproportionately to the next year's seed stock. Root systems also adapt, with plants developing deeper roots in sandy soils or more fibrous roots in clay, changes that get encoded in seed genetics. Pest resistance improves through similar mechanisms, as plants with natural defenses against local aphids, hornworms, or beetles survive better and produce more seeds. The result is a vegetable variety that grows almost effortlessly in its adapted location, while the same variety from a seed packet might struggle despite perfect care. Proper seed-saving techniques ensure viability and prevent disease transmission, starting with selecting the right plants at the right time. Seeds should only come from the healthiest, most productive plants, showing ideal characteristics: disease-free foliage, abundant fruiting, good flavor, and strong growth. Marking chosen plants with colored ribbon during the growing season helps identify them later when fruits are ready for seed harvest. Timing varies by crop. Tomatoes need fully ripe, even slightly overripe fruits. Peppers should be fully colored and beginning to wrinkle. Beans and peas require completely dry pods that rattle when shaken. Squash must be harvested after full maturity and cured for several weeks. Tomato seeds require fermentation to remove the gelatinous coating that inhibits germination and can harbor diseases. Scooping seeds and pulp into a jar with a small amount of water and leaving the mixture at room temperature for 2 to 3 days allows beneficial bacteria to break down the gel coating. When mold appears on the surface, the fermentation is complete. Rinsing the seeds thoroughly in a fine strainer removes dead material, leaving clean seeds ready for drying. Dry seeds need to spread thinly on paper plates, coffee filters, or fine screens in a warm, dry location with good air circulation but no direct sunlight. Optimal drying temperature stays between 70–85 degrees, as higher temperatures can damage seed viability, while lower temperatures slow the process and risk mold development. Seeds are sufficiently dry when they snap rather than bend. Typically, taking proper storage determines whether saved seeds remain viable for years or fail to germinate the following season. Seeds store best in cool, dry, dark conditions that slow metabolic processes and prevent premature deterioration. Paper envelopes work better than plastic bags because they breathe, preventing moisture accumulation that causes mold or premature germination. Glass jars with tight sealing lids create excellent storage containers, especially when kept in refrigerators, where temperatures stay consistently between 35 to 40 degrees. Adding silica gel packets to storage containers absorbs residual moisture, maintaining the low humidity essential for long-term seed viability. Seeds should feel crisp and dry, never soft or pliable. Labeling proves critical because seeds often look similar, and details fade from memory over months. Each packet or container should note the variety, name, harvest date, and any notable characteristics, like earliest producer or best flavor, to guide future planting decisions. Organizing seeds by crop type and then by variety within each category makes selection easier when planting season arrives. Storage life varies significantly by crop. Tomato seeds remain viable for 4 to 6 years under good conditions, peppers for 2 to 4 years, beans and peas for 3 to 4 years, cucumbers and squash for 5 to 10 years, and lettuce for 3 to 5 years. Testing germination before the planting season prevents disappointment. Placing 10 seeds between moist paper towels in a plastic bag for the typical germination period reveals the percent. Active selection transforms seed saving from simple preservation into continuous improvement, creating varieties superior to anything available commercially. Rather than saving seeds from every plant, choosing seeds only from the best specimens drives rapid genetic progress. Best means different things depending on priorities. A gardener prioritizing flavor selects from the tastiest fruits regardless of size, while someone valuing productivity chooses plants with the highest yields. Early maturity can be selected by saving seeds exclusively from plants that produce ripe fruit first, gradually shifting the entire variety toward earlier harvests. Studies show this selection can advance maturity dates by 1 to 2 weeks per generation. Size selection works similarly, as consistently choosing the largest fruits steadily increases average fruit size over successive seasons. Disease resistance improves by never saving seeds from plants showing any signs of disease, even if they eventually recover and produce acceptable harvests. This rigorous selection eliminates susceptible genetics from the breeding line, concentrating resistant genes with each generation. Plant structure also responds to selection. Saving seeds from compact, bushy plants rather than sprawling ones gradually creates more manageable varieties for small gardens. The process requires maintaining detailed notes about which plants get selected and why, creating a record that reveals patterns and progress over years. Some dedicated seed savers maintain 3 to 5 plants of each variety specifically for seed production, growing them under optimal conditions and selecting only from the absolute best performer. This intentional approach can create genuinely unique varieties perfectly suited to individual growing conditions, and preventing unwanted cross-pollination maintains variety purity, especially important for crops that rely on insect pollination. Different crop species have different isolation requirements based on their pollination mechanisms. Tomatoes are self-pollinating and rarely cross, making them ideal for beginners. Even growing multiple varieties in close proximity produces pure seeds over 95% of the time. Peppers self-pollinate primarily, but insects can cause occasional crossing, requiring separation of 50–100 feet between different varieties for maximum purity. Squash and cucumbers present more challenges because they rely on insect pollination and readily cross within species. Different varieties of the same squash type need 1.4 to 1–2 mile separation, which proves impractical for most gardens. Hand pollination solves this problem by controlling exactly which pollen fertilizes which flower. The process involves identifying female flowers by their small fruit at the base, covering them with mesh bags before they open, then manually transferring pollen from male flowers using a small brush. Marking hand-pollinated fruits with ribbon ensures their seeds remain pure. Alternatively, growing only one variety of cross-pollinating crops per season prevents mixing. Timing can also provide isolation if early-season varieties finish flowering before late-season varieties begin. Understanding botanical classifications prevents unexpected crosses. Summer squash, zucchini, and many pumpkins all belong to Cucurbita pepo and will cross with each other, while butternut squash belongs to Cucurbita moschata and won't cross with pepo types despite looking similar. Financial benefits of seed saving extend beyond obvious savings on seed packets to influence the entire gardening operation. A single tomato can contain 200 viable seeds, enough to supply personal needs for years and share with other gardeners. Saving seeds from just 5 crops, tomatoes, peppers, beans, lettuce, and herbs, eliminates $50–100 in annual seed purchases for a typical home garden. The savings multiply when growing larger quantities or unusual varieties that cost $4–8 per packet commercially. Rare heirloom varieties become accessible, as purchasing one expensive packet and saving seeds afterward provides unlimited future plantings. Seed saving also enables larger plantings without budget constraints. Gardeners can confidently plant 50 tomato seedlings instead of 10 when seeds cost nothing, increasing harvests proportionally. This abundance supports preservation projects like canning and freezing that require significant quantities of vegetables at once. Trading saved seeds with other gardeners creates an informal economy where rare varieties circulate freely, expanding options beyond what catalogs offer. Seed swaps and exchanges allow access to locally adapted varieties developed by other gardeners in similar climates, vegetables already proven to perform well in regional conditions. Self-sufficiency extends beyond economics to include security and independence, ensuring that garden production can continue regardless of seed availability, prices, or supply chain disruptions. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many gardeners discovered that seed companies had sold out of popular varieties, but those who saved seeds continued planting without interruption. Despite the benefits of seed saving, certain situations still warrant purchasing commercial seeds to maintain genetic diversity and access specialized traits. New varieties worth experimenting with require initial purchases before seed saving can begin, allowing gardeners to trial different types and keep those that perform best. F1 hybrids sometimes offer specific advantages worth their cost. Certain disease resistances don't exist in open-pollinated varieties, making hybrid tomatoes valuable in gardens with persistent fungal problems. Biennial crops like carrots, beets, onions, and most brassicas require 2 years to produce seeds, first forming roots or heads, then overwintering before flowering the second year. This extended timeline and space requirement makes purchasing seeds more practical for many gardeners than dedicating garden space to seed production. Crops requiring extensive isolation to prevent crossing may be impractical to grow for seed in suburban settings, where neighbors grow similar vegetables. Corn needs quarter-mile isolation and large populations to prevent inbreeding depression, making seed saving challenging for home gardeners. Purchasing from specialty seed companies that focus on heirloom and open-pollinated varieties supports businesses preserving genetic diversity and traditional varieties. These companies often provide detailed variety descriptions, growing tips, and historical information not available with saved seeds. Starting a new garden or expanding into unfamiliar crops obviously requires purchasing initial seeds before any saving can occur. Buying certified disease-free seed potatoes or onion sets prevents introducing soil-borne pathogens that could persist for years. The goal isn't eliminating seed purchases entirely, but rather developing a sustainable system where most needs get met through saving, while strategic purchases introduce new genetics and specific traits. Transitioning from commercial seed dependence to saving homegrown seeds represents one of the most valuable skills any gardener can develop. The process starts simple: selecting one easy crop like tomatoes, saving seeds carefully, and observing the results over several seasons. As confidence grows, expanding to beans, peppers, lettuce, and other straightforward crops builds a diverse seed collection adapted to local conditions. The work required is minimal, perhaps a few hours annually, while the benefits compound year after year as plants become increasingly suited to their environment. Gardens transform from annual replanting experiments into evolving ecosystems where vegetables improve themselves through natural selection and careful human guidance. Even starting with a single variety and committing to saving its seeds for 5 years reveals the power of adaptation and selection. Try it this season with one favorite crop. The results might just change the entire approach to gardening.